whole nobody believes in us as well that can just self-motivate you. It depends what type of person you are, how you're going to react to nobody believing in you. But especially for players like Gate, they react very positively, and they just want to prove them wrong.
Yep. It's got to feel good, too, when that happens. Bard getting banned out here. Caitlyn as well. So Piglet and Matt getting hit right in the beginning for that bot lane.
Yeah.
Fiora gangplank scene for Team Liquid.
Definitely feels like Matt has more Bard games than pretty much anyone else. Would only take a few more before he'd get the undisputed best Bard NA title, even though that is in hot dispute, especially with people like Aftermu running around. Although he has been drawing the bans starting now. We'll see how long that lasts.
Then Italy gets taken out from Proxen, as we saw. Dardoch, he's been going Rek'Sai Elise, Rek'Sai Elise. Which one are they going to take from him? Neither. Both are left up. The Lulu actually gets taken out, so it cannot protect Piglet in any way.
Very true, but there's still a lot of power picks left up, and something that has been getting banned against Dardoch in the majority of his games, and he hasn't gotten to play yet, has actually been the Jungle Graves. It's something he actually picked up on faster than most people. The LPL over in China was seen as the first adopters of Jungle Graves, but at that same week, Dardoch was playing it in the Challenger Series qualifiers. So he has been an incredibly fearful Jungle Graves. He should have more mastery over this pick than most others that would have picked it up, because he picked it up first, and it's a very logical first pick since it's been banned away so many times.
So much damage from Graves. It is insane, especially putting it with some more AD carries. We see Lucian getting picked up. Saw Immortals run a like comp yesterday, but that Graves was in the top lane. Here on tip side, what can they answer with? They had the Alistar to keep tanky. We've seen Graves take these Alistars out, though. It's a tough thing. The Rise, however, can really help Tip get into the scaling.
And I think the Rise is the big one. That's something that has been near 100% pick ban across all regions for the majority of the year. We're a little bit behind in picks and bans because these guys are going very quickly, but it was a big trade of power picks there. Graves, Rise, Alistar, and Tahm Kench, and even Lucian and Kalista. This is literally a who's who of the most picked champions worldwide that these teams are trading back and forth.
And they're getting what they want on the side of Impulse. If they get that Kalista Elise, and they do. Piglet and Matt now to answer. And they're actually leaving Dardoch's jungle away for a while here, unless that Graves is going to be taken.
It's got to be the jungle.
Most will be.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a top laner because we've seen the top lane played, but it's very likely the jungle Graves.
More Lux getting picked up as well. Both those picks offering bindings.
Yeah, and that's specifically when Lux is at her best, is when people can follow up on top of the Lux with the light binding, because generally a Lux full combo, light binding, and ultimate nearly one-shot someone, but then you're going to be throwing in Graves ultimate on top of it, and it is probably a kill whenever Phoenix can land a light binding and Lorlo is in range to follow, which is why those picks have very good synergy together.
Looks like he's going to stick with it. Phoenix on the Lux yesterday, 3, 2, and 14. Not huge, but the team was also scrambling a lot of that game to make things happen. See if they can get more control here. Impulse always loves the hovers. Gate, super jolly dude, and he loves to please. It's going to be the Varus getting locked in. Pyrian will be firing from the mid lane.
Yeah, so a long-range poke AD champion here. They didn't want to over-index on magic damage since they were planning on running that Rise top lane with the Elise jungle. So hard to really pin down exactly where this tip composition is going, because they have elements of poke with the Varus, but also elements of just straight-up damage from the Rise. They'll look to snowball this one most likely, because you look at the Team Liquid team, and that's actually also a little bit strange because they have the 2 marksmen and then really the 1 true tank in the Tahm Kench.
Right.
So we'll see some strange interactions this game. A lot of fishing for bindings, so to speak, from Team Liquid that they'll try and follow up, and that will just be whether or not Tip will be able to outpoke them or engage on them, because both teams have similar goals here with poke and 1 tank.
Tip also relying on, or not relying on, but leaving a window open where if they can just go 4, hold off things, be resilient, Seraph can get to a point where he'll be able to carry the game from that Rise and just be a nuisance again. Always leaving that window open once they have Seraph in the roster, and it's a good one. Share with us your choice and who is going to win the game. You've heard what we think. Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag TLWin or hashtag TIPWin. We'll score your votes, and as always, check in just a few minutes. It'll be right over the inventory on the screen. The players, they love the back-end. They love to hear what you have to say. Impulse, they haven't been listening to most of what the community's been saying. They have been kind of making their own path. And it's been a good one so far after the first few weeks.
The first week looked super rough for Team Impulse. Losing to Echo Fox when Froggen was playing and then getting perfect gamed in the fastest game in LCS history by Immortals.
Yeah, that's true.
But since then,
Did happen.
It's been 3 wins against Cloud9, Renegades, and Team Dignitas. And you can say that's, you know, a bit of an easier schedule, but Cloud9 could be a top team. Renegades, Dignitas, we don't know who's who right yet. And we'll see if they can carry it against Team Liquid.
And look, talking about Team Liquid, TL support Matt he is new to the LCS, but has risen to the occasion, and a sentiment echoed by his teammate, Dardoch.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
I think the reasoning Loco had behind bringing Matt up was just to, I think he said it was to make me as comfortable as possible, but I think Matt proved that he's up here because he's just as good as LCS players. Like, he's been performing pretty well.
He said himself yesterday in a great interview, he actually feels quite a bit more comfortable with how he's progressed, actually, from where he came from. He thought it would take longer. So it's actually good to hear, and that confidence.
Yeah, Matt, when he debuted for Team Liquid, had very good early games, but then would make some team fight mistakes. And that kind of led to Team Liquid's very strange start where they opened 0-3 against Renegades, TSM, and CLG. And he's been gaining the confidence ever so slowly, but now he's on a new champion to the LCS here. He's only played Bard and Alistar thus far. So we'll have to see how he adjusts to a slightly safer playstyle, even though he's still got the potential route with his skill shot here that Bard could stun into a wall instead with.
Right. Well, a lot of what we remember Team Liquid would do was this guy in the mid lane right here, Phoenix, on his Azir play. He would be able to completely control the fight, and he would hold it as well. Very good at that. Something we've seen GBM do with his ults. But you don't get that reliability out of Phoenix without having that type of champion pool. Now we've seen him on different things. And like I said, 5 different things across these games, and now the copy unlocks.
Yeah, and it's an interesting journey here for Team Liquid because even though they've kept a lot of their branding together, it's a very different team than it was last year. It's just Phoenix and Piglet and 3 new players. And aside from that unfortunate miss CS that Piglet has sometimes, Piglet has been playing probably the best on the team.
Yep.
And it's taking a little while for Phoenix to reach back to that level he was reaching on Azir towards the end of last split.
Right.
Now that he's not necessarily using Azir. But things are looking up, especially with that win they had against Energy yesterday.
Storm Raiders for Seraph on there. Interesting. We saw GBM running that yesterday. Get a little movement speed if you're able to crush your opponent.
Yeah, Storm Raiders Rise, I'm wondering how many champions we will end up seeing it on. Because a lot of times the logic would go, hey, if I'm a burst champion, why would I not just want to take Thunderlords and burst harder?
Right.
It depends on how sustained your burst can be and how important it is that you stay next to someone.
Yeah, and you
for
continue.
Rise, since it's fairly easy for him against a Squishy to get the Storm Raiders proc by doing the correct percentage of health in a short time frame, he can then just stay right next to him, which is huge for the skill shots. Proxen, though, found Dardoch.
Peekaboo, the rotation from Pyrian, maybe on time. Dardoch dashes back. Was it just enough HP to save him? Where to go? Whoa! Oh, he gets taken down. Phoenix with the reaction as well.
And that is exactly what you want to see if you were Team Liquid. Phoenix backing Dardoch up, even though, by the way, Phoenix didn't get an assist. That was all Dardoch for Proxen, so forget what I just said. I realized that was completely Dardoch soloing Proxen, and oh my goodness, he knows exactly what to do on Graves, gets the dash armor to Mar at the very end, gets all the face full of damage to Proxen when he decided to repel over the wall, and big surprise for Proxen. He thought he was going to make a big play. But let's watch this again. So Dardoch has both shots of his shotgun in.
This dodge saves his life.
He gets 2 attacks in because of his dash. And here's the thing, as he flashed over the wall, it allowed him the time to reload. So he ended up getting 5 Graves auto attacks off there, maximizing his damage, all while Proxen was trying to close in on him. And the majority of those attacks were from close range, which leads more damage. Plus he refreshes double buffs, so here he goes mid lane. Oh, don't stand next to that wall.
Oh, he's going to have the dangle. He gets the angle on end of the line. A little more damage here. The smoke screen's going to slow him down. Dardoch already used the flash over towards the Raptor pit.
He's a pretty
and he can
damagey
still go
man.
for Proxen. Seraph has to come in. He already teleported in. Level 4, and that's not going to be good to get him a kill this early. What chaos to start this game off. Dardoch felt like he had such a lead, but Proxen came back immediately.
Yeah, that's playing with a lot of confidence, but it is Seraph once again who saves the day for Team Impulse. Really timed the teleport there for Rise, and It's actually massive because he now has double buffs on Ryze heading back to the top lane, and Tahm Kench isn't the type who will be able to pressure Ryze in the early game.
Nope.
This means free farm for Seraph for the duration of the double buffs. And also an important kill to slow down Dardoch, who was looking to go on a rampage off of that play.
I was just about to build him up. Gonna say we saw the Elise and the Rek'Sai. You were talking about the Graves. We finally get to see it. And he goes a little headstrong. Still going to be able to do a lot. He actually went Swifties right away to keep that pressure up and bit him in the butt.
And a Hunter's Potion, so he was just looking to stay at full health and mana and be able to spam through. That's actually a build where you're really just looking to snowball the game right from there. So Dardoch tried to go really big with that itemization. Yeah. Graves can clear the jungle pretty quickly anyway with base damage, so he went Boots of Swiftness for a faster clear. But he's still going to look to continue to gank with this jungle Graves. He is a very, very good jungle Graves, but he needs to go back now, and he wants to get those double buffs off of Seraph, but it's honestly just too dangerous.
Also, to look at the other side of that, we've been talking a lot about the Team Liquid engage. Pyrion as well, to play that so calmly, walk down, allow the team time to close in on the situation. Impulse had some good communication on that, and then Seraph's quick TP puts them at 1-1, but a little bit of a gold lead for having first blood there. Looks like Lorlo has been able to pretty much keep the wave pretty consistent, only down a few CS, and he's got a pretty good wave crashing into him. They may try to do something tricky here as we see the bot lane switching over.
This is really tricky. Dardoch, so they know that Seraph has no flash. Here's the thing, though. The Storm Raider's surge on Seraph is so critical right now because even though Lorlo landed the tongue, Seraph just zoomed away thanks to that mastery right there. And that'll completely shut down the ganks that they try and send him his way. If he can proc the Storm Raider surge.
Keeping him nice and safe, also with his passive. Whoa. So not too much damage yet for Phoenix. He knows he can keep it safe with Prismatic Barrier in mid. 49 to 40 there. Like we said, Phoenix back on the Lux. Wasn't a huge impact last game. He's trying to keep Pyrion off the mid lane waves here. Back down, Matt just going to join Piglet in the bot lane, and he's not actually had too much of a lead either. Doesn't look like too many things going on. That early game from Dardoch looks like it was going to set things off, but since Impulse slowed it down, they're happy to keep it that way. Stack these tiers, get Ryze going, get Pyrion some items as well.
Yeah, double Dorns onto Phoenix, so he's definitely in kind of farm survival mode right now. It's what he did yesterday. I even saw Phoenix use his ultimate multiple times just to clear the wave because he's really waiting until he has burst potential with Lux. Until then, he's just going to be playing a wave clear champion. And I do just want to double back real quick to the choice of Storm Raider Surge on Seraph's Ryze. It's really important in the Tahm Kench matchup, since the way Tahm Kench is going to get aggressive is throw the tongue out to get the slow. But if Seraph can then return 30% of a champion's max health and damage to proc the Storm Raider Surge, this is a recent buff to Storm Raider Surge, is he will get 75% slow resistance for the 3 seconds he's running away with the move speed, meaning he can basically ignore the slow from the Tahm Kench, making it almost impossible for Lorlo to eat him or get the appropriate Tahm Kench stacks. It's just a great pick into it, and they picked it blind into the Tahm Kench anyway, so it just makes it better.
I like it, and if anybody's going to try to do it, it's Seraph. Keeping that lane safe. Teleport almost up, so we may actually see a play instantly off that, since Tahm Kench isn't one to super push a lane. He can spit out minions, but it's not the fastest. Fog of War play here from Phoenix. He's trying to win the lane just by bits of damage instead of going toe-to-toe here. Still throws out the W as he gets a Q. It's just going to be back and forth, and that just a skill matchup from range and who can hit what. Who has the better aim, really.
Yeah, spam your long-range skill shots and try not to miss CS. Well, that's 2 missed for Pyrion, so he's losing. He's losing that matchup right now.
And moving back to kind of Dardoch, what is his role now? He seems a lot more passive. Is it kind of natural for Graves to just sit back and say, now I'm farming if something didn't work out like that in the early game?
Yeah, well, he definitely got slowed down by losing his double buffs to Seraph, and then he spent a large portion of the game, of the early game, looking top lane again, but the gank just failed so horribly. They were hoping to get the Tahm Kench slow, and Seraph just zoomed away with Storm Raider Surge, so they weren't really anticipating that working out, and now it's actually Elise who's up there with the gank.
All right, they kind of stacked the crowd control there. Flash out, Gray Health activated at the last moment. Lorlo's going to have Dardoch in just a second. May not be enough. It does not blind Proxen. He gets the last kill off.
Yeah, basically did so much damage they killed him twice because they bursted him.
That is the way it has to go.
His gray health being about 5%, so Lorlo timed his gray health as best he could, and he also had Mercury Treads to try and reduce the CC chain of the Rune Prisons and Cocoons, but even with all that, he was just too far up the lane without backup. He burns a summoner, still dies, and that just becomes more and more dangerous.
There's the wave clear for mid. Phoenix looks like he wants to get back now. He's sitting on quite a bit of gold, just under 2,000. He'll be able to get some items for himself. Pretty slow game after a lot of action in the beginning there. You may just see what happened yesterday as freaking Kobe and Dash were talking on the desk. We get to those mid-game fights and things will start falling very fast. Turrets are staying up a little bit longer when we don't get these lane swaps, so it means there's a whole pile of gold to be grabbed at one time. Once we get to that point,
this is fun.
Ward was played. Matt kind of baiting out Dardoch and Piglet to come up from behind here. The binding just misses. He's kind of going for the no-look over towards Mash.
He baited, but his hook wasn't sharp enough, so really it did nothing. He just lost his
fell
bait.
Out.
Took some damage. He's a level behind Gate and Mash. Some of that has to do with how much time he spent top lane trying to bait that gank with Dardoch. It also means Piglet is a little bit behind in CS because he had to spend some time 1v2. So credit to Mash and Gate for having the CS advantage, but it's not from a straight skill matchup. It's because there was some time missing in lane.
You cannot have my ward.
Oh.
Here comes Proxen.
Yeah, he can eat him.
Oh, he's going to eat you up, son.
But he's got a friend.
Where's he going? He throws him right into the wall. Here comes Proxen now. Seraph is going to be ready for this one. If they can get one more Rune Prison down, this is going to be Lorlo. Can they kill him twice? Once again, Grey Health's going to be popped. Oh, it actually executed. He didn't have time. Or it just wasn't up. They have used it just previously, the cooldown.
I think he was trying to time it. He
it's up.
Did not. It was up.
It's up. You got the replay.
Yep.
That's a whoopsie.
That is a big whoopsie because Lorlo was actually in turret range, so that would have been a time it could have actually saved him. He thought maybe because he'd get the eat on Seraph that he'd have the damage to take him down, but he had absolutely no backup. That's just a poor play and poor choice by Lorlo. Seraph did have the backup, and he's going to be in position to take over this game on Rise.
But it would have felt so good to get a 2-kill shutdown.
It would have.
After that.
Now it's just worse.
Tunneling in on the kills. Unfortunate. And now a 1,000 gold lead just about. Nothing really Tip's going to use to push Liquid over right now. No dragon pressure either just yet. We see back and forth between all of the lanes. Pressure from Proxen has definitely come up a lot better. He's kind of followed Dardoch since the beginning, and now he's getting ganks off by himself in the lane. So snowballing the lanes nicely.
It's a really tricky situation. I mean, oftentimes when you're a jungler and your early game invade fails and you die and give up double buffs, a lot of times it just feels like the game is over. And it almost could have been, if not for Seraph. I really just want to keep doubling back on the Seraph teleport, the over-aggression from Dardoch, and the fail to follow with a teleport from Lorlo. If Lorlo teleports in at the same time with Seraph, they can neutralize that. They can stop Rise from getting double buffs. They can keep Dardoch alive. All these great things happen. But ever since that play, it cut off the pressure from Dardoch because he lost his double buffs. He had built to do the early ganking, and he was unable to pull off the early ganks. And it's made Seraph's Rise unmanageable.
Yep. And actually looking in this mid lane now, Phoenix could actually be a problem for Seraph, only because he's completely building to be an enabler. He doesn't really have much power. He's got the spell thieves. He went Lucidity, and he's going to be binding with Matt. They want these 80 carries to do work, so hopefully Piglet and Dardoch can start getting quite big here. And like we said, they only have Lorlo to be a beast on that front line, and we've already seen him go down twice already.
Yeah. He won't be able to tank that long against a Rise who, on this super low ping environment, and if Seraph has enough games on him, can chain his spells together so quickly that even if Lorlo is able to press his Grey Health button, it can still get choked through pretty quickly. So it will be a test of skill, really, for Team Liquid to be able to bind Seraph before he gets in spell combo range, and then blow all of their damage on it. It's not like they have a lack of damage once they can land a light or a dark binding. Piglet, Dardoch, Phoenix, Matt, all those guys can actually use those spells from outside of any of Rise's spell ranges. It'll just be a matter of setting up the right siege when we get to that stage in the game.
So we got some pings over towards Rift Herald. That was from Proxen just a second ago. We'll see if they can relieve some pressure on this top side and get it. Looks like it's going to be the push in, maybe a counter gank here. But looks like the turret actually. You see that as Proxen shows himself. They're going to go ahead and force this one down. Looks like Dardoch's going to be able to give a bit of assistance, but I think it'll be too little too late. No, they decide to give him the respect.
Yeah, a lot of the power in Rise just comes with timing the passive. And even if they could have finished the turret there, his passive had just expired, so Seraph couldn't machine gun down the spells. The timing from Dardoch did technically work. But now, oh, they just miss out. Dardoch still doesn't know this is coming. Now he does.
Yep, there goes the pings.
Safe.
They say, let's burn this real quick. They have that ward to show that Dardoch kept going down towards Wolves. Easy peasy on Rift Herald. Maybe give this one right over to Proxen to keep his jungling going. But Seraph usually use this top.
Yeah, it's always a bet of like who has the largest influence over the game at the time. So this time, they will be giving that Rift Herald buff
over to Seraph.
Yeah, they gave it to Seraph. Increases damage. He's already blowing Lorlo up. Just let him push harder. It's the smart call in this game.
Makes sense. And Proxen may even have to go up there less. They have the wards for Seraph. He can do what he needs to, reset that, and it looks like the ping's going down towards the bot side. They say Rift Herald Dragon, maybe? Do we have the pressure? Dardoch setting up some vision for it on Scuttlecrab now. The knowledge is there from Impulse. I don't think they're going to be too worried about this one. But Proxen looks like he may skitter on over. Once he sees 3, I'm sure he'll be like, maybe not so much.
Yeah, it's all about how aggressive they want to be.
Oh,
Seraph wants to be pretty aggressive.
Remember,
the dragon is burned, though.
This is 16 minutes. That's not a home-guarded Rise. Burns off the black shield, flashes for the Rune Prison. That is going to be a dead mat overall. So it pays off for Seraph. He picks himself up another one. 3-0-1.
Right, exactly. And the most important thing about this is he has the Rift Herald buff right now, so these will be empowered minions pushing down the wave. And how far can they push this? Lux is still mid lane. Dardoch isn't actually rotating down, and they would need him to clear the minions right now. These minions do not have any extra tankiness, so you actually want the Graves down there to clear the wave. If they don't stop this, Tip has 4 people bottom lane, and the Tahm Kench is also not pushing. There's no reason for them to stop this push just yet.
And Lorlo actually just took about 4 seconds to back, so there's a bit of a waste of time on the top lane. We'll see if they can protect this. 3 members. There's the rotation down. They see Phoenix. They just pinged him out. And it's going to be Pyrian hugging him on the backside. Lorlo slowly.
He's got to be super careful.
He does. He went down very fast last time. They can bump him up here, and if they crowd control him, he doesn't get gray health. Now they're trying to get out of this situation. Collateral damage already came in from Dardoch, and they are starting to take down Liquid. That's going to be a catch. Dardoch's out. Matt gets locked up, and Matt just went down. He comes back, but the rest of the team is falling, and there's nothing right now Liquid can do. Phoenix with an exact cleanse there to keep himself alive. They use just about everything to get out.
Where did this Tip team come from as well? These were guys that lost the first 2 games in horrendous fashion, but then Seraph comes in. Proxen and Pyrian arrived last week as well, and these guys actually look quite good. Yes, it was a very uncoordinated play by Team Liquid. Lorlo teleported in, the initiation wasn't synced up, he didn't respect the damage burst, he never should have taken that angle, but Tip recognized that opportunity and completely destroyed Team Liquid in that engagement.
It's coming in, we'll see this one more time. He gets the wave, so it does push top. That helps there, but...
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, Lorlo has to respect the CC chain of a Cocoon as well as a Headbutt Pulverize. He doesn't get his Grey Health off. And now, Piglet still wants to go aggressive, but Gate knows he can turn this with the initiation. Pyrian arrives, and it was already a 4v5 since they killed Tahm Kench for free. They land the Varus ultimate, which allows them to continue to chain the CC. And all this setup that Team Liquid would need for an actual team fight was abandoned there. Team Liquid needs to lead with bindings and then combo their damage. They can't actually just walk into a team fight brute force wise and then hope to land the skill shots. It was a nice cleanse on the backside by Phoenix to immediately get rid of the Cocoon, but it's too little too late because everybody else was dead.
Liquid really kind of baiting themselves into a fight that was not good for them. Now 8-1, it just keeps falling further and further behind in the sub. 100% kill participation right now for Seraph, and the Seraph's Embrace finished up 19 minutes in. 4-0-4 for him right now. He is a menace and can completely control the game with a split push. Something that Impulse, like we said, had the option to rely on. I don't even know if they need to, though, with the amount that they just fought face to face. They could choose to go wherever they want. Doesn't have to be a split push.
Yeah.
Phoenix still bringing good wave clear to the team. As long as we don't see an Impulse Baron at any point here, they will be able to clear these waves pretty well, especially with Piglet and Dardoch. They have to figure out a way back in, though. They have Morgana, they have Lux. Got to figure out where the Fog of War is their friend and get these picks.
It's so difficult to do that when they've lost vision control because they're losing this game here.
Yeah.
Because he was able to bind Seraph there, yes, he holds him back temporarily, but Seraph is just a killing machine right now. Good job of them to go top and get that turret because Lux can hold mid with very strong wave clear with the blue buff. So that may actually be a 1-for-0 trade, depending on how aggressive Tip gets here. It's risky for, very, very risky for Phoenix to stick around. So yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade. I have to say, the 3 games Seraph has played for Team Impulse have been 3 of his best games ever in the LCS.
He's only grown as a player. He had troubles in the beginning, couldn't really find his footing, but when he's put to the task, he definitely shows up.
Maybe it's the difference in expectation and pressure here. He's coming in as a sub-known expecting to win, but he is actually carrying these games. And it's a very fast Baron force into a fight.
Black Shield to Fate's call. Baron is going to get left up, and it looks like Team Liquid got out of that what they wanted. The flash from Matt is down, but Baron is stopped, and they have pressure towards the mid lane.
A super aggressive call there by Team Impulse. That was a 20-minute Baron. They kill it very quickly because of a Blade of the Ruined King Callista and a Ryze who can machine gun his spells down. But because it was a 20-minute Baron, Tip had to be very respectful of a fight in the Baron pit since they had already taken a fair bit of damage. You always take that damage when it's an early Baron. But now, since it's 20 minutes, they got Home Guard Ryze coming in with gates.
Here comes Seraph. Oh, he's on the Phoenix. Lorlo eats him up, but you know where that guy is going to go. So Phoenix has to flash. He had that from last fight, but he doesn't have the cleanse. Everybody has
big turnaround.
Mash way too close. That is a mistake for Impulse. Pyrian has to get away now. The Chomp is so close, and the Chain of Corruptions has to come out for one. Abyssal Voyage goes up. He is a solo top lane. Tom Kench, he will be able to get this kill. He licked Pyrian. He gets him down. Nice job, and now Liquid gets a fight to get themselves back in.
That hitbox on that tongue from Lorlo in that fight, it was like 2 feet left of him, but it still landed. Either way, Team Liquid make the turnaround. That's exactly what they needed. Team Impulse in this fight, they funnel in and they use the crowd control. Here's the thing, they used the CC before Ryze was there. So by the time Seraph is able to get the damage out, Team Liquid is able to return it. Full burst combo from Dardoch and Piglet blows through Ryze, and then Mash was expecting the fight to go well, so he was super far forward and gets luxed to the face. And then here, this is just, it makes you feel bad. The stacks, this isn't Nerf Tom Kench, so the stacks stay up for 8 seconds. Woo. Not that they actually mattered at the end of that since he didn't get the stun with the tongue lash.
Impulse comes out, gets Dragon as Liquid takes a breather after that fight. So a little back and forth here. Lorlo getting himself a kill there, stepping up a little bit, maybe getting some confidence in to make some more plays. Now getting tanky as well, so he can be what the team needs. We saw how effective he became in that fight. Tyrion, that's what we were talking about, playing with the fire. There it is, collateral damage from Dardoch.
That's the setup, one binding, and the person dies.
Yep.
Team Liquid has somehow managed to turn this game around. Even gold, very impressive. This is the second game where they've had a pretty dire situation. Not quite as dire as it looked against Echo Fox back last week, but they had a big deficit in this game early, and they've already turned it around. So for a team that has traditionally had a reputation of tilting, these teams, this Team Liquid team actually looks very untiltable in their games so far this year.
I was just going to mention that before we saw the fight, is that it's reminiscent of yesterday and the fact that Liquid gets pushed back into a corner, and that's it like ups their resilience. They figure out more, they're kind of learning about what you're doing, and then they just figure out a way in and break your armor. Impulse needs to be very careful now. Items on the side of Team Liquid are definitely putting the fights in the AD's favor.
Oh, that's another bind.
One binding. Oh. Whoa, Matt! Whoa, Matt! Gets deleted. Was not expecting that to happen. Remember, Seraph is 5-1-5. He was 4-1-5. There's the initiation from Gate. Unbreakable Will's not even on yet. These guys are huge coming into this fight. They have Team Liquid running for the hills, and Impulse just dictates that one. They knew they couldn't fight with Matt down, and
well, just because you land the binding doesn't mean he's no longer Ryze. You have to be careful. He can cast his spells. Seraph rips him apart, and this will lead to a Team Impulse push mid.
Only
nice
hold. He'll be able to get the Triumphant Roar heals from Gate. Seraph out, threw his ult on there to be a nuisance, but they get out with a nice fight and a turret. Just as we start to build up Team Liquid, they trip over their own shoes.
Matt has had his moments in both good and bad directions. That was one of the not so good moments for Matt.
Yeah.
The main thing that I need to emphasize about that is Team Liquid can take down Seraph, when they lock him down, but specifically they have a lot of, they either need to be able to burst him quickly or they need to use the spells that are outside of his cast range, like Dark Binding. In this case, he lands the Binding and he's moving close for the ultimate, but no one is actually here to burst. Piglet is a DPS, not a burst champion, and no one else was in range, so Sarah just used a couple spells and deleted Matt. That was fun.
His Q's like 450, and Black Shield right now blocks about 170.
Black's about a spell. One Rise spell. Although, this is an out-of-position Team Impulse. Seraph doesn't have teleport. And Elise was in the base.
Yeah, there's no 50-50 for this one. That's the hit, the laser.
Great call.
Over it. Lateral damage smite. There's really no way you're going to be taking that unless you had Mash's Rend in there. Nice job. Liquid really helps himself out there because they, unless Piglet or Dardoch are on the front line, they don't have too much wave clear on Baron Minion. So
yeah,
kind of put a pause button on Impulse's pushes here. See what Lorlo can do. He can't really leave the team for too long. His teleport plays aren't exactly Rise.
Yeah, and I have to say again, Team Liquid's decisiveness in the face of adversity. They just made a bad play against Seraph. A lot of teams would be disheartened, but they saw the opportunity of some bad recall timings from Team Impulse and went immediately to the Baron, forgetting about the bad play and just completely looking to the next step. Keeps them in this game once again, despite a mistake earlier.
Liquid picking up more gold around the map. This will be the last outer tier turret, and now working off that top side pressure for when Baron is up. We're gonna see if they can take down this bottom side.
And I think this push could make or break the game right here. They have the Baron buff. If they want the setup, if they land a Binding or some CC onto Seraph, they can blow them up. But Team Impulse, if they get the right initiation and Seraph can get the entrance during the CC of Team Impulse, he can kill a couple people in Team Liquid in the duration of a Pulverize.
Another thing you have to do, keep updated on items as well. If Liquid doesn't realize both Pyrion and Mash have got Quicksilvers, they could really be in the wrong spot in these fights. Tip instantly realized these bindings were becoming a problem once they lost a few people instantly.
Very, very true.
Whoa, Chain of Corruption. Just missing in the mid lane there. So Phoenix and Lorlo feeling a little bit safer, but realizing the pressure they were messing with.
And opportunity cost there for Pyrion. He does have a decent amount of cooldown reduction.
Wow.
With Lucidity Boots, so the ultimate will be up in a total of 57 seconds from use, but at this point, in about 30 more seconds. So really, very, very quick cooldown.
Also just noticed this CS from Phoenix, and the few kills he has added 16 to 14 over Pyrion here. Usually you don't see a level difference of 2, and also 1 being the third level of your ultimate, especially for a Lux.
The Lux farming has been huge, not to mention the extra gold he's gotten from the Frost Queen's claim. So Phoenix is definitely turned on in this Lux game, and that just adds to the power of this Baroned up siege. Tip would have to go right now.
Oh, Matt walks right over the Fog of War. They had a ward behind them. It really didn't help the forward push. That's going to be Seraph going down immediately. That's the one binding they were looking for. The Chain of Corruption goes back for defense. And that, again, leaves Liquid with a little bit of pressure relieved. They still realize they have to leave the situation. 20 seconds onto Dragon. And that's going to start getting a lot bigger as you mount those Dragons. It's going to be the second one for either team who gets it.
Some substantial burst coming straight onto Seraph in that fight. And he goes home and picks up a QSS because he needs it. Matt, though, walked over to the side.
It's just an unfortunate game from Matt. He's choosing the wrong paths.
And over on the side of that fight there, as Seraph gets full bursted from Lux, Gate missed his Pulverize because it was flashed away, or it was just dashed away, actually, by Dardoch. So really heady play by Dardoch on the side of the fight. And a better play by Team Liquid because that time they used their damage from outside of Rise's damage range. But Tip going for this Dragon. I don't think they have the power to stop it. Seraph wants to TP in.
Gate took half health before he threw that ult on. Here comes the TP. It's going to be a lockdown. Lorlo actually gets the spell shield. That's no Brew Prison. That ruins Sarah's combination. That ruins Impulse's fight. And now they keep going. Pyrion almost gets the lick to stick, and the Abyssal Voyage is now going to be to the bot lane. Dardoch over the wall. Can he get the dash in time? It's the flash and dash and the goodbye for Pyrion. What a play from Liquid again. They flipped the switch.
Base full of Graves right at the end of that fight, and Team Liquid have taken full control of this game. Phoenix is doing so much damage in these team fights, and they are positioning around the main damage source from Team Impulse. We mentioned Team Impulse didn't have a strong tank line, and because they are focusing Seraph so adequately, that might be the game.
That might be the game. Another sub 30 if they got it in 15 seconds. Mash getting Piglet. He's like, focus me. Come this way. Don't worry about the Nexus. One last hit. The flash in. They secure the kill, but now they've lost Matt. He's gone down. The laser eviscerates the side of Impulse. Phoenix picks up a few more, and Liquid continue to persevere, continue to be a resilient team, but so do Impulse. More spawns coming up. Pyrian in 2 seconds now. I don't think he's got enough, though. What a barn burner of a match. 30 minutes in, the Nexus has taken the last few licks of damage. Seriously. And it's going to be Liquid taking out Impulse.
Now that was a fast and close game.
Yeah.
From start to finish. At the end of it, it's
Boom, boom,
still
bang.
13 kills to 15. The goal lead is 6,000, but it was just the 30 minutes and 20 seconds. And again, Team Liquid overcomes some adversity, some tough moments in that game, but their talent shows through here because they came back from the bad plays,
Yep.
made better plays, and really capitalized on some miscommunication.